Welcome back, everybody. My next guest is an award-winning writer whose best-selling books include Bad Feminist, Difficult Women, and Hunger. Please welcome to The Late Show, Roxane Gay. Roxane, thank you so much for being here. All right, so here we go. So your best-selling collection, Bad Feminist, came out 10 years ago.
It did.
And for the uninitiated here, how do you define being a bad feminist? And do you still consider yourself one?
Well, definitely, yes, always. But when I wrote the book, I was thinking about how I'm a feminist, but I can be inconsistent in some of my ideologies. Like, yes, I listen to hip hop, and Salt Shaker is just like poetry when you really listen to those lyrics. Magic. And so how do you create space for yourself in feminism while acknowledging that some of your ideas may be flawed? And I'm still a bad feminist, but I hope I'm a better bad feminist than I was 10 years ago.
Could a takeaway be that it's better to be a bad feminist than no feminist at all?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. Because bad pizza is still pizza.
It is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say bad sex is still sex, but
sometimes
it doesn't quite work.
Sometimes it doesn't quite work that way. How do you think in the last 10 years since this came out, how do you think the word feminist and feminism itself has changed?
I don't know that the word has changed, but we have lost a lot of ground when it comes to thinking women are people and women should have rights and live in unlegislated bodies. You know, it's unbelievable. I'm 50 years old, and a lot of Gen Xers like myself, we never thought we were gonna lose certain things like Roe v. Wade. We never thought that would be overturned, though activists were always on this. And so it's just really challenging to have to continue to explain what feminism is at the same time that people are trying to take away women's rights. It's just a difficult time.
Well, to help out with thinking about it, you have a new anthology you've curated called The Portable Feminist Reader.
Yes.
It comes out tomorrow.
It does.
How do you go about selecting what goes into a book? Because it spans an enormous amount of time, starting in the 1500s.
It does, because feminist thought is not new, and we did not invent it. And so I wanted to look at the history of feminist thought and also what contemporary feminists are talking about and what they're thinking and how they're applying it to their lives. And so I was looking for great work from the 15th century on. And, with contemporary thinkers, I was trying to put in the reader people who would not normally be considered part of the feminist canon, but who absolutely belong there. And I'm pretty proud of where the book ended up.
So let's talk about somebody who would normally think about being in... Let's talk about somebody who would normally think of being in here. There's a writer from the 1500s in here.
There is.
Now, what does someone in the 1500s have to say about women's rights before there was a time when anybody had any rights? There was no discussion of human rights, generally speaking.
Absolutely.
So what form does feminism take then?
Back then, it was very sort of feminism 101. Like, women have interesting ideas sometimes. They can do more than have children, which, who knew? And it's amazing that we found this out. And so at the time, that was really groundbreaking. And I thought it was really important to demonstrate how far we actually have come by showing where a lot of feminist thinking started.
How were ideas like that received in the 1500s?
They were pretty bad.
Pretty bad, yes?
Burn the witch. It didn't go over too well. And obviously it didn't go over too well because we're having the same conversations 600 years later, 500 years later. It's a challenge.
This next question I'm hesitant to ask, but do you feel hopeful or pessimistic looking forward?
I mean, if I don't read the news, I feel fine, but I would like to believe that I am an optimistic pessimist in that things are pretty grim, but it would be such a luxury to give up on progress and to just say that there's no hope. I have two nieces who are incredible, 14 and 13, and every time I talk to them, I'm like, I don't know what you just said, but it's amazing, and they teach me lots of things like Delulu and leaving no crumbs. And when I see how awesome they are and how smart they are and how excited, they don't believe in the word no, and they don't believe in the word can't. So of course I have to be optimistic that young kids are going to rise up into a world where they have rights and freedoms.
I understand that you are working on another project with Channing Tatum.
I am.
Okay, which I did, a sentence I did not expect to be saying. What are you two kicking up?
We're writing a romance novel together. I can't even say it with a straight face.
Isn't that the plot of The Lost City with Sandra Bullock?
It really is. It really is.
So how did this come? Did you call him? He call you?
I didn't. He called me, and you
know, it's a feminist romance novel.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know about that, but it's a bad feminist romance novel.
Okay,
for
good.
Sure.
Yes.
No, he saw an interview, or he was interviewed by a journalist in Australia who was like, "Did you know that the writer Roxane Gay has a crush on you?" And he was like, "No." And they asked him if he had read Bad Feminist, and he was like, "No, but I'll look into it." And then he actually did. And so. Now we're working on this project together that will hopefully come out in about a year and a half.
Wow. And a romance novel?
Yeah.
Is he going to be on the cover with like a torn shirt or anything like that?
I mean, from your lips to God's ears.
Okay, great.
Yes.
How sexy are we talking here, Roxane?
Oh, it's very sexy.
Very sexy?
Lots and lots of sex, yes.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
It's an adult romance novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Anybody a vampire in it or anything
No,
like that?
it's actually grounded in reality. You know how like so many people make these little pacts, like if we both turn 40 and we're still single, let's get married. So they actually get married. And then they fall in love afterwards.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I know, right?
Wow. Wow. Sort of an arranged marriage, something they might have done in 1500.
Exactly,
So...
but a voluntary arranged marriage with lots and lots of sex in a bakery.
That sounds dusty.
It does get dusty in the orifices, but what can we do?
But that's what the butter's for.
It's
all right.
Exactly.
So, just to shift gears back one more time here, but before we go, I'm curious. The word gets used positively and negative. It gets thrown around as a cudgel. Mm-hmm. How would you define, as succinctly as possible, the modern use of the word feminism?
Feminism is just a movement to ensure that people of all genders are treated equally, have equal access to health care, are paid equally for the labor they do, and are allowed to live lives free of violence.
Roxane, thank you so much for being here. The Portable Feminist Reader is available now. Roxane Gay, everybody. We'll be right back.